We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Have you ever wondered why the news plays the same 5 stories again and again? Let me give you a little hint. Brainwashing and repetition is the most basic form of brainwashing. Join me as we look at the news cycle and talk about why the mainstream media is so gutless and afraid to report the truth. Good afternoon and welcome to Conspiracy News with Michael Strange. This is the show that spawned out of the other show. And the other show is called Troubled Minds. Still is called Troubled Minds, by the way. And we still talk about aliens, conspiracy, and the paranormal over there. But we used to do a news segment on that show, and there was just too much stuff to talk about. Just way too many things because the news media, they just never stop. The things they do and the things they try and get away with. I actually just had CNN on. I was just watching CNN for just a little bit. Just enough to piss me off. Just enough to get me bristling to come do this show. But it's pretty unbelievable where we live in this framing war, where news is the baby in a swimming pool of dirty bathwater. I think that's the best way to put it for actually the way the news is today. I mean, sure, there is a baby in the swimming pool, the dirty swimming pool that everybody's peed in, because, well, that's the way the news is. Everything's a framing war. Everything is a race to leave out details and spin this and do that and try and make you believe some things that aren't true. And it's just it's gross. This entire thing is gross, and that's where this show came from, because it is possible to do the actual news without trying to turn it into a lefty righty political, spit in everybody's face type fest. It just is. It's not. This is not rocket science, and you don't need newsrooms and editorial staffs and all the rest of these knuckleheads, because the second you do that, everything's politicized. You have to chase the money. It's like, come on. If you're here listening, I'm preaching to the choir, but for crying out loud, has the news cycle not become just a gigantic shit show? Like, it's all clickbait, it's all political spin, it's all like fake fact checks now. I mean, we've actually gone into the world where the fact checks are now politically motivated fake. It's like, wait, what? This is a fact check? Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. Okay. So which we'll get to at some point, because, well, there's just way too many golden fact checks out there that are just way off. And, and actually, hold on. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'll share this one on Discord. All right. Now, this is the thing, guys. This one's too hot to handle, too hot to talk about. But, okay. This is the deal. Transparency is important. I 100% believe that we can agree or we can disagree to have a conversation, and we can still be friends with each other. Like, there's absolutely no reason for us to hate each other over the news. There's zero reason. Zero. And that's not what the news media wants to do. They want to use it as that political cudgel to make you hate your neighbor, to make you hate your family even. We had Dark Devious in here yesterday, I believe, saying that he's lost family to this politics stuff, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, people. Your family is first, right? Come on. Like, not some knucklehead Don Lemon or Sean Hannity reading the news to you, pissing you off. That's not first. It's just not first. But anyway, so transparency, important part of this show. If you want to call in, I think we can agree or disagree and still be friends. That was my point. 702-957-1037 if you want to be part of the show. One more time, that's 957-1037. Troubledminds.org is the official website. You can click the Discord link and right there on the website, and you can join the Discord. So if you want the story that I'm about to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about this one, I'm going to skip it as my teaser. If you want it, I'm going to link this in. It's not even a story, it's a screenshot, but I'm going to link it in the Discord at the end of the show today. So if you're interested in that, and also please remind me, guys, but and I'll do it. But here's the thing. If you want information about the show, the best way to find it is go join the Discord. Lots of good discussion over there. If I announce anything about this show, like maybe we got banned or something, you'll know first on Discord. So go to troubledminds.org, click the Discord link, and there you go. You have all the up-to-date information. And maybe at some point we'll be forced to do live shows on Discord itself. So, there we go. All right. Anyway, the one I was talking about, I'm not going to post because it's just going to piss me off, and then people are going to call me names, and you know how it is, right? You know how it is. All right. We're not doing that. We're going to start with this one instead. See, I'm all amped up. It's what happens when you watch CNN. So I had CNN on just to let you know what was on just right now. They were talking. They were playing footage of the Capitol riot. Okay, the Capitol riot, as the people were coming inside the Capitol building, right? And so at this point, when they're showing the footage, the doors were opened, and people were just kind of flooding in. And they're like, "Look, there was military coordination," and they like highlight this group of 8 people or 9 people, I think it was, that were grouped together. So there's like a mass of people, like maybe let's say in a doorway in a hallway, it's a big double door, but it's like a big hallway, But let's say there's like maybe 100 people in there. Maybe less, a few dozen anyway. So it was enough to be close quarters. Everybody was elbow to elbow, kind of just trying to shimmy through, right? And in the door comes these 9 guys, and they're all dressed in what CNN is calling tactical gear, right? Which means it's camouflage, and they're wearing these helmets, and they have like these goggles on top of the helmets, and they're all sticking together, right? So I think like 5 of them have like helmets, and the other 4 have like baseball caps, but they're wearing the same color clothing. And so they're all pointing them out. They're all, look, military, and they're like, military coordination. And these guys are like shimmying in with everybody else, kind of like, I was just like, wow, that's some sick military coordination, sticking with your buddies there, all wearing the same clothing. And it's just, it's unbelievable, just the dumb stuff they say. Go turn on CNN if you want to laugh, because yeah, it gave me a laugh, and it makes me bristle, pisses me off a little bit. But anyway, here we go. The armed insurrection, as they call it, where nobody was armed. But anyway, this is from Curiosmos.com. Now, my digression knows no bounds sometimes, so let's bring it back. Let's talk about this. Curiosmos reports this. Strange elongated stone found by Chinese mission on the far side of the moon. Further analysis from U-2's instruments will confirm the origin of the unusual rock. And U-2 is YUTU-2. That's the Chinese rover that was over there that actually went up for the Chang'e 4 mission, I believe. Was it Chang'e 4? I think so. But anyway, so they dropped it was they landed on the dark side of the moon, the far side, and then they dropped this little U-2 rover, and it's out there kind of just driving around the backside of the moon, and it's taken, remember, so not too long ago they found like this, it was like a little slimy thing. They thought it seemed like it was something, right? But then they determined it was just like some frozen something piece of ice. But it appeared to be an anomalous type object on the moon. But it turns out, apparently, at least from what we're told, it wasn't anything organic or slimy. It was actually just a frozen something that the light was glinting off of just right. So anyway, turn this up a little bit. Okay, so this time. Let's turn it down a little bit. So this time, they found this rock. And if you guys can see right there in the photograph, there's like this little rock that's sticking up. And it does seem unusual, right? And if you look at the entire crater area where they're driving around on the far side of the moon here, there's only one rock kind of standing up like this. So everything else seems to be pretty flat. The other rocks that are there seem to be more flattish or roundish, and this thing's kind of like a little tower sticking up, like a little spike. So anyway, let's just read just a little bit of this. So China's Yutu-2 rover recently began its 27th lunar day on the far side of the moon. Data from this round of exploration will be received in a few weeks, but we are here to discuss the big discovery of the previous lunar day. The rover stumbled upon a rather unusual elongated rock, different from anything seen on the moon in the past. And again, there's the photograph in the larger frame there, and here's like a smaller frame where they have a analysis type of situation, kind of drawing what this thing looks like around it, Photoshop type of thing. So here we go. So while the find may not look like something fascinating to the untrained eye, it was enough for lunar scientists to plan an investigation. The rock has now been named a milestone, and it has an unusual elongated shape. We would have to wait for the subsequent VNIS research to understand the characteristics and perhaps origin of the elongated rock, but scientists have already come up with a plausible theory. Plausible theory, as always, right? There's always a plausible theory here. Okay. According to one of NASA's leading scientists, this has to be a geologically young rock. All right, no problem. This means that it most likely came out from a nearby impact crater. This article is written so poorly. The main question at hand is whether this elongated rock is of lunar origin or it was part of a meteorite that fell nearby. This discovery can serve as a reminder that the lunar surface is subject to constant changes as asteroids continue to fall. Yeah. So anyway, there we go. This, as they draw this thing with whatever this little analyzation feature is, it looks like an alien cooler to me. It looks like the alien left their beer on the beach in a little cooler there. I'm just kidding, but it's hard to say, right? Because clearly, in the first photograph here, it looks like just a little pointy thing out there on the moon. But then this, when they zoom it in, it kind of looks a little less pointy and a little more square. So who knows? We'll see. We'll keep an eye on this as it develops, because as we know, this information does kind of come through and change as they get more information and more actual things to talk about. Anyway. Oh, speaking of CNN and pissing me off, I should have started with this one. Okay. All right. This is not CNN, but this is from NBC News. I'm sorry. they all sound the same, don't they? Yeah. Well, okay, exactly. Who knows? Who knows what this rock on the moon is? But like I said, we'll keep an eye on it. If it's natural, if it's not. If it's not natural, it'll be the news of the millennia. But of course, if it is or isn't, I don't know if we'll find out the exact details. We'll keep an eye on it as the story develops. Let's go to NBC. Now check this out. Pelosi calls for 9/11 type commission on Capitol attack. The Democratic leader also said Congress needs to pony up more money for security. The one thing about this lady is she's consistent. She's definitely consistent. Everything needs more money. Everything needs more money, except for the other guys. The other guys don't need more money. Everything she thinks is important, though, needs more money. But anyway, let's read a little bit of this. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is doubling down on calls for a 9/11-style commission on the Capitol attack, following the impeachment and acquittal of former President Donald Trump in the Senate this past weekend. In a letter to House Democrats, Pelosi urged lawmakers to appropriate additional funds for better House member security and advocated for an independent commission to investigate the circumstances that led to the deadly January 6th riot after a mob of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol. Pelosi said initial reporting from retired Army General Lieutenant General Russell Honore, who began a security review of the Capitol last month, highlighted the need for such an investigation. Check this out. Quote, It is clear from his findings and from the impeachment trial that we must get to the truth of how this happened, she wrote to her colleagues. To protect our security, our security, our security, our next step will be to establish an outside, independent 9/11 type commission. And yes, she did say that 3 times according to the quote. Our security, our security, our security. I think she actually meant to say more money, more money, more money. Anyway, she also said Honoré's feedback indicated the need for supplemental appropriation to provide for the safety of members and the security of the Capitol. Okay, and so we've talked about this previously in that if I knew, just some knucklehead on the internet with no source to any intelligence briefings whatsoever, I knew there was a possibility there was going to be a bunch of people at the Capitol and it might get a little bit frisky over there. I knew this. You knew this. I woke up that day and turned on the television because I was like, let's see if there's anything to this. So how the hell do we know and they didn't know? Right? It seems like a bunch of BS to me. It seems like, like we saw recently like the drama with AOC, and she feared for her life, and the police officer came in and glared at her, and she was feeling like just really, really bad and terrified. I don't know if you guys heard all this drama that was going on with her, on Instagram Live. There was a whole bunch of drama with all this, right? But it turns out AOC wasn't even in the Capitol building, by the way. She was on the Capitol complex way across the street. If you look at all the maps, anyway, blah, blah, right? So they're trying to drum this up as much as possible and make it seem as terrible. And, they're even calling it an armed insurrection. And, of course, there was nobody armed, no credible proof of anybody armed except for the cops. And the only person shot was by a police officer. I mean, come on. Like, it's unbelievably stupid here. It's just, again, more of the framing war of trying to frame Trump supporters or people that do not vote Democrat, let's say, or didn't this last time. Anyway, whatever it was, whatever it happens to be, they're trying to make it seem like they're a bunch of terrorists. Make it seem like they're a bunch of terrorists, and they've locked it all down now. Let's see what's up. They went to they want to keep National Guard troops in D.C. possibly through the fall. Says Alien Nietzsche in there. And this is ridiculous. This is absolutely just an unbelievable smack in the face. And I saw this on Twitter. Now this is okay. Now that you want to be politically charged, here you go. Now, Pelosi and her ilk spent 4 years saying that walls don't work, right? Donald Trump was so stupid for trying to put up a wall on the border because they just do not work. And here we are. We have a wall built around the Capitol now that is keeping people out, oddly enough. It's, again, right? So, and I'm not trying to make the case one way or the other. I'm just saying you can't have it both ways, can you? And these are the types of things that are just incredibly stupid. It's like the double think. It's like we're expected to believe it works for these guys, but it doesn't work for those guys. If it's politically irrelevant or it's politically unsavory, let's say, right? Back to that unsavory word. If it's just not within the realm of the political spectrum that they want to deal with, then it just doesn't work. But then for them, it works because, well, they want to be safe. You see, I mean, it's just unbelievably stupid, all of this. And I just wish they would get her out and get McConnell out and get these people out that have been in taking money from China and making dirty real estate deals their entire career. They got rich of being in Congress. And come on, was that ever the goal? Of course not. Nobody ever said, I know, we'll make Congress people be able to get rich off of all the private dealings. Yeah, come on, get out of here. This is a joke. 9/11 type commission on the Capitol attack. Let's see. Like I said, turn on CNN. They just highlighted these guys shoulder to shoulder, all dressed the same. Look, military precision. And these guys are like just stuck in the mob. They're all just kind of, like I said, shimmying together. They can barely get through. And this is military precision, right? Just like, get out of here. Unbelievably stupid. But anyway, I digress. What do you guys think? 702-957-1037. Just unbelievable how all of this is just turned into what it is. And it's turning into domestic terrorism has become the name of the game, right? And they're moving to frame everybody they can as this exact type of domestic terrorist. That 17th letter, as they continue to mark us down as, what would you call us? Conspirators, right? We're conspirators because we don't buy their narrative. This is ridiculous. This whole thing is dumb. It makes me mad. Turn on CNN, you'll see what I mean. So stupid, so incredibly stupid. I want to hear from you. 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Get out of here, Pelosi. Get out of here. Let's go back to space. This is pretty cool. This is from /gear.com. Now, headline is this: strange region of space can damage orbiting satellites. All right, check this out. This is cool. A strange region above the Earth known as the Bermuda Triangle of space has the potential to severely damage satellites and could harm the ISS. In this zone, the Earth's magnetic field has a weak spot, approximately the size of the continental United States. This weak spot hovers above South America and the southern Atlantic Ocean. While the weak spot in the Earth's magnetic field poses no risk of harm to life on Earth, objects in orbit such as satellites and space station aren't so lucky. As satellites or the ISS orbit through the area, they are bombarded with radiation that's more intense than at any other point in their orbits. The official name for the region is the South Atlantic Anomaly. Since the magnetic field is weaker in this area, solar cosmic rays aren't blocked to the same extent as they are elsewhere above our planet. This weakness allows solar rays to penetrate the atmosphere to as close as 124 miles above the Earth's surface. Researcher John Tarduno, a professor of geophysics from the University of Rochester, said that he's not fond of the nickname Bermuda Triangle of Space. However, he does say that in the region, the lower geomagnetic field intensity does result in greater vulnerability to satellites to the point where they could be damaged when transversing the area. Yeah, pretty cool stuff, right? I didn't know this was a thing, but apparently this is a thing. And they don't like the nickname, the Bermuda Triangle of Space, but they do call it the South Atlantic Anomaly, which, well, it sounds like maybe the same thing. Maybe the same thing. Okay, well, yeah, that's what it is. Here we go. Quick word from our sponsor, which is you. Are you digging the show? If so, you can support us quite easily and at no additional cost to you if you already have an Amazon Prime account. Since we stream on Twitch every day, all you have to do is link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and they give you free games on a monthly basis for your personal use, and also a bonus $5 a month to send to your favorite streamer as a way to bring more people to Twitch. And all you have to do is sync up to 2 accounts and click subscribe. Thanks for considering us. Okay, let's go to The Guardian, one of the bastion of journalistic integrity. The Guardian. Headline is this: people should be alarmed. Air pollution in U.S. subway systems stuns researchers. In other news, people that actually take the subway every day are not surprised at all. But anyway, let's read some of this. People traveling on subway systems in major U.S. cities are being exposed to unsafe amounts of air pollution, with commuters in New York and New Jersey subjected to the highest levels of pollution, research has found. Is anybody surprised? New York and New Jersey? Weird, right? Tiny airborne particles probably thrown up by train brakes or the friction between train wheels and rails are rife in the 71 underground stations sampled by researchers during morning and evening rush hours in Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C., the cities that contain the bulk of subway systems in the U.S. The levels of these tiny specks of pollution, called PM 2.5, PM as in Mike 2.5, were well above nationally determined safe daily levels of 35 micrograms per cubic meter in each of the cities. New York's Metropolitan Transit Authority system had 251 micrograms per cubic meter, followed by Washington, D.C. with 145 micrograms, and Philadelphia was comparatively the cleanest system, but still breached the limit beyond which serious health hazards are risked. Like I said, who knew? Who knew? Quote, New Yorkers in particular should be concerned about the toxins they are inhaling. said the study co-author Terry Gordon, professor at New York University's Grossman School of Medicine, with the research finding that concentrations of hazardous materials and organic particles were anywhere from 2 to 7 times higher than outdoor air samples in the city. So all along, apparently, we should have been wearing masks in the subway. Maybe 2 masks, who knows? But again, this is funny the way they frame all this stuff. Stuns researchers in the headline. Stuns researchers. Really? Have they ever been in a subway? Crying out loud. Even in San Francisco on the BART train, like it's kind of open air. It's got the magnetic third rail, as they always say, this type of thing, right? And it's still those BART trains are filthy. They're filthy. Just saying. Like if they were underground, and just more filthy on top of filthy. What do you guys think? Does anybody live in that neck of the woods? Does this surprise you? Anybody ever ridden a subway on the East Coast or anywhere else for that matter? I'd love to hear from you. 702-957-1037. Are you stunned to find out the air is dirty down there? Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Oh boy. Let's go to ARS Technica. There's some cool news today. Interesting stuff. Let's look at this one. This is, again, ARS Technica. Headline is this. Astronomers say a comet fragment, not an asteroid, killed off the dinosaurs. How about that? That's pretty amazing, right? So, some 66 million years ago, a catastrophic event occurred that wiped out 3/4 of all plant and animal species on Earth, most notably taking down the dinosaurs. An errant asteroid from the asteroid belt has been deemed the most likely culprit. However, in a new paper published in Scientific Reports, Harvard astronomers offer an alternative. A special kind of comet originating from a field of debris at the edge of our solar system known as the Oort cloud that was thrown off course by Jupiter's gravity towards the sun. The sun's powerful tidal forces then ripped pieces off the comet, and one of the larger fragments of this cometary shrapnel eventually collided with Earth. Okay, so it used to be an asteroid. Now we're saying it's a comet, and the sun shredded it into pieces, and one of the pieces hit the Earth. Okay, all right. You say potato, I say potato. The result is the same. Delicious mashed potatoes. The most widely accepted explanation for what triggered that catastrophic mass extinction is known as the Alvarez hypothesis, after the late physicist Luis Alvarez and his geologist son, Walter. In 1980, they proposed that the extinction event may have been caused by a massive asteroid or comet hitting the Earth. They based this conclusion on their analysis of sedimentary layers at the Cretaceous Palogene boundary, the KPG boundary, formerly known as the KT boundary, which is why I'm confused, because it was the KT boundary in the past, but they keep changing these names all over the place. But anyway, so they found that this is found all over the world, which included unusually high concentrations of iridium, a metal more commonly found in asteroids than on Earth. The same year, Dutch geophysicist Jan Smit independently arrived at a similar conclusion. And we've all talked about this. This is in the in the history books as it is currently, in the science books as it is currently. That the Chicxulub impact crater, right? I just like saying Chicxulub, so I get to say it a couple more times. But that's Yucatan Peninsula, that whole bit, right? It hit down there, and blah blah. There's that big hole in the ocean down there off the coast of I believe it's Belize or Mexico. Anyway, point being that now they're saying that it may not have been an asteroid or a meteor of sorts. It was a partially part of a comet. So anyway, since then, scientists have identified a likely impact site, a large crater in the Chicxulub, Mexico, in the Yucatan Peninsula, first discovered by a geophysicist in the late 1970s. The impactor that created it was sufficiently large, between 11 and 81 kilometers, or 77 to 50 miles. That's big. That is big. To melt, shock, and eject granite from deep inside the Earth, probably causing a mega tsunami and ejecting vaporized rock and sulfates into the atmosphere. This, in turn, had a devastating effect on global climate, leading to mass extinction. So, the thing hit, and then particulates in the sky, and then mass extinction. Weird. Those particulates in the sky, they just keep resurfacing all the time, don't they? But okay, anyway, so interesting that we have a new theory about a comet from the Oort cloud kind of pulled in through the gravitational pull of Jupiter and torn apart by the gravity of the sun, and then a piece of that comet hit, I mean, like I said, potato at some point. I think that's, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, what do you guys think as we continue trucking here, talking about the news and all the things that pop up in the news? 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org is the official website, and we'll keep on rolling here, keep on talking about this stuff. And let's see, let's do one more, and then we'll take a quick break after that. And you guys know how quick these breaks are. It's almost like they didn't even happen. It's amazing. We have like the time travel device when we go live. Okay, let's do this one. This is from Wired.com, and one of my favorites as well. Not quite as good as The Guardian, but you know what I mean. What happens when you swap a human gene with a Neanderthal's? Let's file this under how could this go wrong? What are the key differences between modern humans and our closest relatives, the Neanderthals and Denisovans? For the Neanderthals, there doesn't seem to be any sort of obvious difference. They used sophisticated tools, made art, and established themselves in some very harsh environments. But as far as we can tell, their overall population was never particularly high. When modern humans arrived on the scene in Eurasia, our numbers grew larger, we spread further, and the Neanderthals and Denisovans ended up displaced and eventually extinct. With our ability to obtain ancient DNA, we've now gotten a look at the genomes of both Neanderthals and Denisovans, which allows us to ask a more specific question. Could some of our differences be due to genetics? Interesting. The three species are close relatives, so the number of differences in our proteins are relatively small. But a large international research team has identified one and engineered it back into stem cells obtained from modern humans. And the researchers found that neural tissue made of these cells has notable differences from the same tissue grown with the modern human version of this gene. Is anybody surprised by this? By the way, just again, you don't really know if you can create Frankenstein until you create Frankenstein. You know what I'm saying? But this one's for Axel, actually. Maybe we could find a way to use this for torture. Or maybe not. I'm just kidding. Here we go. This continues. As the first step in their work, the researchers had to decide on a gene to target. As we mentioned above, the genomes of all three species are extremely similar, and the similarity only goes up when you look at those parts of the genome that encode proteins. An added complication is that some of the versions of genes found in Neanderthals are still found in a fraction of the modern human population, which actually, if you guys have done any of those 23andMe things, I have not, because I'm paranoid. I'm not trying to give my DNA to whoever the hell, but people in my family have. Thanks family, you're the best. And they've shared their things, their findings, right? Their DNA maps, or whatever the hell you want to call them, the heat maps or whatever. But it turns out in my family we have a higher level of Neanderthal. So take that for what it is, what you will. Maybe some of you aren't surprised at all. Anyway, so what the researchers wanted to do is find a gene where both Neanderthals and Denisovans had one version and nearly all modern humans had another. Anyway, read this. It is a. I'm going to link it at Wired.com if you're interested in this sort of thing and swapping the things and doing the things and well, I don't know. I think creating Frankenstein brains with extinct genes are probably a bad idea, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a Neanderthal. 702-957-1037. You want to be part of the show? Click the link at troubledminds.org. You can join the Discord. We're just talking about the news, talking about some interesting things, and the way the world is, the way the world works, apparently. And as I say that, it is time for our time travel break. This is the fastest break you've ever seen. You're listening to Conspiracy News. It's Michael Strange, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Conspiracy News with Michael Strange. We are talking about the news. We just got off the Neanderthal train, and now we're going to get on to the, what else do we got? On to the super eruption at Yellowstone train. Let's talk about this. This is from Sputnik News. There's a bunch of people that reported this, but I thought it would be fun to grab one from Sputnik, the state-sponsored Russian propaganda outfit, because why not? Super eruption at Yellowstone Park is not the biggest concern, volcano expert explains. Interesting. So it's not the biggest concern, which, of course, it's the way they write the headlines. So it makes you go, oh, crap, what is the biggest concern then? Clearly, they mean aliens, right? The Archons. But anyway, a super eruption at a Yellowstone park is not the biggest concern for humanity, said volcano expert Clive Oppenheimer. According to the scientist, people should not be worried about the Yellowstone caldera, as it is unlikely it will erupt in the near future. Quote, the one eruption that people get excited about and keen on is the chance of a colossal eruption, what we might call a super eruption. But that is a very rare event. The probability of that is exceedingly low, probably less than 1 in a million per year, he told the Daily Express. Oppenheimer noted that people should worry more about other things which volcanoes may cause. Magma under the Earth's surface produces heat and volcanic gases that power the park's famous hot springs and geysers. The expert believes that the steam explosions are more likely to occur. So everybody is familiar with Yellowstone and Old Faithful and the geysers and all the gassing that happens from the volcano that's happening underneath the park there. I've never been there myself. That's one of those places I should probably go to before it explodes. It would be pretty nice to see before it's destroyed. But, put it on the list. Yellowstone National Park is one of the most seismically active areas in the United States, with approximately 700 to 3,000 earthquakes occurring each year. However, most of them are not felt. The U.S. Geological Survey has been monitoring the park's supervolcano since 2001. Experts say that a super eruption will be preceded by earthquakes, ground uplift, and unusual volcanic activity. However, Oppenheimer says that there is not enough data to predict when exactly it will occur. Well, I would posit that it's not our biggest concern, because if it happens, we're screwed. We are screwed, like extremely screwed. And I'm not sure, like this would be an extinction level event, even for people on the other side of the world, right? Back to the geoengineering bit. If you want to just explode a bunch of super volcano into the sky, assuming you're not, in North America, where you're probably going to be roasted, after that, you're definitely going to starve to death because the Earth decided to geoengineer itself, right? As part of the natural cycle of what the Earth does from time to time, which is, again, unpredictable, as this guy said, which means that we should probably not try and do that ourselves. Just throwing it out there, FYI. Let's see. What else? Good chat. I see you guys in the chat. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. We're talking this stuff. We're talking about the news and some of the stuff that's hitting the news and what the hell it means. Let's go to New York again. Let's go back to the subway in New York, shall we? This time we're not talking about the smell or the actual quality of the air as it's healthy to breathe. How about this? New York City, this is from Fox News. New York City suspected A-train ripper is ordered held without bail amid stabbings. I didn't even know this was going on. Did anybody hear about this? Me, I watch the news pretty damn close, but and if it bleeds, it leads, as they say. But for some reason, I hadn't heard this was happening. But apparently there was somebody that was on the A train stabbing people, and it was like a more than one-time occurrence. So anyway, the accused A train ripper was ordered held without bail Monday as a Manhattan prosecutor recalled the horrific details of the suspect's deadly alleged crime spree. Homeless double slay / suspect Rigoberto Lopez, age 21, appeared virtually at the Manhattan criminal court hearing wearing a white COVID-19 protective mask and full Tyvek suit. Full Tyvek suit. Isn't that what they wore in E.T.? You guys see that movie back in the 80s when they came to pick up E.T.? Weren't they wearing full Tyvek suits? I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I think that's what that means. Anyway, he sat silently behind a metal screen as Assistant Director Attorney Alfred Peterson launched into a detailed timeline of Lopez's alleged bloody spree. Quote, as a result of the defendant's actions, 2 people are dead and 2 people are very seriously injured, Peterson told the judge. It all began on Friday, February 12th at approximately 11:30 in the morning at the subway station at 181st Street and Fort Washington Avenue in Manhattan, the ADA said. That is an A-train station, Judge. The A-train. The A-train. Anybody know? I don't know. I don't know. I've been on the subway once or twice, and yeah. It's the New York subway. So I don't know if I've been to that particular station. Probably not. The prosecutor described how Lopez, who has previously been hospitalized for mental health issues and arrested for allegedly attacking a cop and his own dad, quote, used a knife and stabbed the first victim who was seated on a bench in the subway station, wounding the man. Later that day, Lopez again used a knife to approach a homeless man, stabbed him on the train, and the victim was found having bled to death on that train car, Peterson said. So clearly horrific, and like I said, the world we live in. This all happened super fast. I guess that's why there was no time to sensationalize this. This was it all started on the 12th, they said. I think the 12th. That's why, February 12th. So that's just a few days ago. So the entire thing and catching him and holding him until trial was just a few days. Props to the cops and the people involved there. That's fast. Sometimes these people get away and they never catch them. But anyway, let's continue. Let's go back to The Guardian. Again, one of my favorites. All right, this is what they're telling us. This is from The Guardian. This is amazing. Wall Street Journal warns Republicans. Trump won't win another election. Oh, you don't say. You don't say. Huh, weird how they know this. I wonder how they know this. Half of Republicans want Trump to remain as head of the party, while half of American voters want him banished from politics, they say. Okay, all right. In the aftermath of Donald Trump's second acquittal in an impeachment trial, his supporters celebrated confirmed dominance of the Republican Party. I wouldn't really call it that, would you guys? Anyway, but as they did so, an influential voice warned, quote, Mr. Trump may run again, but he won't win another national election. Is that a prediction or is that a promise? Are they going to do their little dirty work behind the scenes and fortify the next election as well? I guess we'll find out. But anyway, the Wall Street Journal also said, actually, let's look at that article. Let's link that while we're at it. All right, they're citing this article, so I'll just link it. If you guys want to check that out, it's these people saying these things about some other things, so that's news. But anyway, I thought it's interesting the way they're wording this. But anyway, no one so much as Democrats wishes for that analysis to be true. Oh, I'm sorry. The Wall Street Journal also said moves by Trump, other than a run for the presidential nomination in 2024, including a revenge campaign tour or a third-party run, would only divide the center-right and elect Democrats. No one so much as Democrats wish for the. Don't want the phone line. Phone line is down. Phone line is down. Emergency. All right, we'll call it right back. No problem. All right, so anyway, blah, blah, you get it. Trump could win again because it was always a choice between 2 candidates, tweeted the conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt in reply to the Journal editorial. I don't even know who Hugh Hewitt is, nor do I care. Anyway, interesting wording. Trump will not win another election, according to the Wall Street Journal, and I've got the link if you guys want to read that. It sounds like a threat, says Alien Nietzsche, and I agree. It sounds like a promise, right? It sounds like we made that mistake once and we will never make that mistake again, right? Speaking on behalf of the establishment, if you catch my meaning, right? We found out how to defeat that, and we are going to always defeat that. And I go back to that Time magazine article that we talked about ever so briefly, because you can't talk about these things because, well, yeah, because they've been censored. They've been silent. They've been silenced. Silenced. That's the word I'm looking for. But whatever it is, I don't care. I care that they can make these moves behind the scenes. What would you call this? Like the deep state, or the establishment, or they teamed up? I mean, this is the type of stuff that should bother everybody, because they're basically saying, No way, no how. Like, we're not allowing this to happen, even though, like, there's still seems to be very high support for Donald Trump running in 2024. And so these guys are like, not going to happen. No, he will not win. And I'll bet you right now, I'll bet you, like, that's part of the whole second impeachment. I'll bet you right now they're working already to fortify, quote, fortify the next election. Anyway, what do you guys think about all this? Just people howling at the moon and making up some BS, or do you think there's something to this? As always, we have to take everything with a grain of salt that comes from the media because, in my opinion, most times they're full of shit. But anyway, love to hear from you. 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. You can be on the show either way with the phone number or the Discord, and just jump on the caller queue on Discord. We'll put you on the show. But anyway, interesting, right? Interesting the way you use the terms of will not happen, right? Will not happen. Like the establishment is stepping up and they're protecting itself from itself. Or they're protecting itself from the unwashed masses. You dirty know-nothing voters, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you have the audacity to maybe change what we want? Anyway, we'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsor, which is you. Are you digging the show? If so, you can support us quite easily and at no additional cost to you if you already have an Amazon Prime account. Since we stream on Twitch every day, all you have to do is link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and they give you free games on a monthly basis for your personal use, and also a bonus $5 a month to send to your favorite streamer as a way to bring more people to Twitch. And all you have to do is sync up the two accounts and click subscribe. Thanks for considering us. Okay, let's go to this one. This is from the Washington Post, and they've paywalled everything. So I've used my sweet little trick to get around it. And so here we go. This is Meet Ingenuity, the mini helicopter NASA is about to drop on Mars. And so this is we've been talking about this and kind of watching this closely as the thing. Actually, we got a phone call. We'll get to this in just a sec. We're going to go to this, and we're going to talk about whatever Axel wants to talk about. What's up, my man? Axel, you're on You're on Conspiracy News. How are you?
Hey, Michael.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so getting the back talk.
No, you're good, bro. Go
That's
ahead.
fine. I was just calling partly because I'm snowed in and don't really have anything to do.
Awesome. Welcome.
But also, have you ever heard the theory about how the reason why Homo sapiens spread so much easier is because of dogs?
I have not, actually.
Well, I mean, basically, dogs got domesticated before humanity went to Europe. And while our closest relatives, the chimpanzees, do hunt, and some groups of them group hunt, it's pretty uncommon. And they certainly don't group hunt for prey that's larger than themselves, because that's a feature that dogs do. And so the theory is basically that, when dogs and humans started cooperating, we taught them to be like more tolerant of humans and look to us for help. But they taught us how to work together to hunt larger prey. And that's why we were able to spread so quickly. I mean, dogs are also a useful hunting technology, even without that.
Right. Yeah. It stands to reason. I mean, dogs are fantastic. Like I say, dogs are better than people. So
they were kind of our super weapon that let us dominate the other hominids and spread all throughout the world.
Oh, I see. So that's why.
Because they brought dogs. Because dogs came across the Bering Strait to the New World with humans. They're not native to this continent.
Okay. And so the story goes something like this: they were wild. There was like a wolf type population, and then we domesticated them somehow by giving them the steady meal, and then we bred them with the more docile ones to be more receptive, and the ones that were more wild kind of got bred out or branched off as actual wolves. Yep. Right? That's how I understand it. So then we started working together. But yeah, go ahead. I want to ask you: did I fix the talkback? Is it?
Yes, it's gone.
Okay.
Makes it easier to talk. Oh, I'm not sure this is true, but I sort of enjoy the theory that it was a two-way genetic, and it was a two-way genetic manipulation where we manipulated them, well, at least culturally, we manipulated them into liking us, and they manipulated us into learning how to hunt big prey together.
Yeah, no, it makes sense to me. Like I said, there's a ton of things I think people could still learn from dogs, and none of that surprises me. And it's weird, right? Like when you get into the science of like the dogs and the human relationship, there's a lot of communication that goes on there that's very not nonverbal and very not even obvious in many cases. So like the dogs are picking up on all kinds of things that we're doing that we sometimes don't even realize we're doing. But they're like I said, we got a lot to learn from them.
Well, yeah, there's also kind of the thing where like cats think humans are big cats basically, but dogs know that humans aren't dogs. That's why like hurt dogs won't go to other dogs for help, but they'll go to humans for help even if they don't know them. Right.
Okay, that makes sense because they know they're probably going to get help or end up dinner.
Yeah, one or the. I mean, there's options.
Hey, not all people are great. I'm just saying. Not all people love dogs. But yeah,
so do you think? So I guess I have a question too. Do you think Trump's going to run again in 2024?
Yeah, hell yeah. I think. Check this out. This is my prediction on that. I think he's going to run again, and he's basically going to threaten the GOP and say, "Look, if you assholes pick anybody but me, I'm going to just run third party, and you'll instantly lose." And they're going to have no choice. They're going to run Trump in 2024. And
he's just going to be so. I mean, he's going to be almost 80 then.
He's going to be Joe Biden's age.
Well, I mean, that's true, but that's not great.
No, I agree. And again, I'm not even saying it's maybe a good idea, but I think his ego is such that, and just what I said, he could totally do that. Like he's got such support that he might even win as a third party. He's got such a huge chunk of support, right? They'd have to get like a huge turnout to beat him on the left. So who knows?
I think. Go ahead. I guess it depends on the specifics. Like if he runs in the primary, there's a lot of states where if you lose in the primary, you can't run in the general. So he'll have to pick a strategy relatively early.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a long road between here and there for sure. But again, let me ask you then: do you think that just that article that I was looking at, where they basically said he's not going to win again? Do you think they're going to do some dirty shenanigans to make sure?
I mean, they did dirty shenanigans this time to make sure. What are you talking about? He's not popular with the establishment. They're going to
Yeah. So do you think that's
the question is, will it work?
Will it work? Yeah. I guess that's the question, right?
I mean, this goes all the way back to 2016, but I remember the Hillary-Trump debates in 2016, and they were ludicrously biased against Trump. They would ask Hillary questions like, why should Trump not be president? And they asked Trump like, tell us why you shouldn't be president.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, and you'd have to be living in a cave or in that orange man bad echo chamber to not even get that the press has been, like I say, bristling about him since at first they were making fun of him and then he won. And they were like, oh shit, now what do we do? But yeah.
I mean, he's not one of their like. He just wasn't part of the political establishment, at least in the same way that they like their candidates to be.
Yeah, I mean, as we've agreed in the past, there's a deep state, and they like to run the show. And if you get a president that doesn't roll with that, they're pissed, and you saw how pissed. Yeah, I think he's got a good shot. I think he's got the Republican Party over a barrel, and I think they have to accept him back because if they don't, he'll just run third party and they'll lose. So he's got a good shot there. If he wants in, I think he can get in. The question is whether they can keep him out with some more, COVID voting or whatever they're going to do. Yeah. I
guess we'll find out.
I appreciate the call, my man. Anything else while we got you on?
No, that's all right. I'll be around. I'll maybe call in Tuesday night.
Okay.
I should be up.
Perfecto. Stay warm out there, and I'll talk to you soon, my man.
I'll try.
All right. Thank you. There's Axel from Twitter, out there in the cold, out there in the freezing cold. Anybody else out there in the freezing cold? Yeah, it's I threw on a fleece over my short sleeve today because it's a little chilly here in Vegas. The Southwest. But yeah, like I said, I got family on the East Coast. I got family in Texas, and they're all snowed in right now. They're all just nor'easters all over the damn country, except for in the Southwest. Sorry, family, you chose poorly. All right, let's continue, shall we? Thanks for the call, Axel. All right, so this was meet Ingenuity, the mini copter NASA is about to drop on Mars, and This is what just happened. This showed up in orbit just a few days ago, and it's about to happen like in the next couple. Let's see, what day is this? I think let's play the video. There's a video here. Let's see. We're landing a rover on Mars, February 18th, and here we go. I'm going to play this video, and this is what they're trying to say this is going to look like. It's a 40-second little deal. So they're saying that they're going to land this rover on Mars. It's doing its thing, and I think this is a part of what the little helicopter is. The little Mars helicopter will be on this probe here. So this should be pretty hot. This is the actual 3D animation version of the landing. It's going to be live coverage. Starts at 2:15 Eastern on February 18th. So this is happening. This is actually happening. And so they're gonna land this sucker, and it's gonna be doing its thing. And watch on NASA TV, the NASA app, or NASA. I can't say it. NASA social media. So yeah, interesting stuff. Cool. So meet Ingenuity, the mini-copter NASA is about to drop on Mars, and yeah, so the robotic aircraft is named Ingenuity, and its core is about the size of a softball. For the past 7 months, the device has been rocketing toward the red planet inside a rover called Perseverance. After traveling at nearly 25,000 miles per hour, they are scheduled to touch down on Martian soil Thursday. So we will keep an eye on this, of course. And so Thursday, I think by showtime, we'll have a conclusion to this, whether it crashed or not. I think, remember, we were looking at some of the statistics, and it's about a 40% success rate landing something on Mars without crashing. So that tells you, even for the professionals that are doing this, it remains very difficult to do. And so hopefully we can get a landing, a real landing, and not a crash landing. And this is Meet Ingenuity and the, Perseverance rover. So we will keep an eye on this, and hopefully this will be a happy ending, a happy landing, as they say. Here we go. Let's continue. CNBC. Here we go. Bill Gates says this. Bill Gates on climate change. I'm another rich guy with an opinion, but here's why you should listen. I'm going to just skip that because I don't really care. If you guys want to read the article, you can, but I don't care. Yeah.
Anthony Fauci, the nation.
I think that's funny. So, okay, yeah. Just wanted to read the headline because the headline was the best part of that. But anyway, so here we go. This is from thehill.com. And Fauci wins $1 million Israeli prize for defending science. So while we have Fauci on deck and science being defended, let's go through a quick rundown of Fauci's take on science.
When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
Hashtag science. Fauci wins $1 million Israeli prize for defending science. That's a good thing. I mean, somebody's got to, right? So the Dan David Foundation, which is based at Tel Aviv University, said on Monday that Fauci has won the prize for courageously defending science in the face of uninformed opposition during the challenging COVID crisis, the Seattle Times reported. As the COVID-19 pandemic unraveled, Fauci leveraged his considerable communication skills to address people gripped by fear and anxiety and worked relentlessly to inform individuals in the United States and elsewhere about the public health measures essential for containing the pandemic spread, the Foundation Awards Committee said. And then, of course, here's Fauci in more recent days.
A lot of folks are hearing now about double masking, wearing 2 masks or trying to get one of those N95 medical grade masks. Do you believe that that's
You know, it likely does, because, I mean, this is a physical covering to prevent droplets and virus to get in. So if you have a physical covering with one layer, you put another layer on, it just makes common sense that it likely would be more effective. And that's the reason why you see people either double masking or doing a version of an N95.
Because it just makes sense. It's common sense, you see. So, funny, both of those clips have nothing to do with science, do they? Or do they? Well, they're diametrically opposed anyway. But anyway, you get my drift here. So the doctoriest doctor of all the doctors in all the land wins the award for defending science. And you see the weird upside down world we live in. And he said some other weird things recently too. He just keeps flip flopping his way to more awards. And who knows, if he keeps flip flopping like a politician and not a scientist or a physician, he might actually work his way to a Nobel Peace Prize. Let's find out. Let's find out. Oh, geez. I love picking on Fauci because it's just too easy. It's just far too easy. All right, one more and then we're done. Curiosmos.com reports this, and this is pretty cool. This has been reported all over the place. This is from let's see, hold on. Mysterious life forms found living in extreme environments beneath Antarctica. And this is brand new. Like I said, being reported all over the place. Researchers drilled 900 meters below an Antarctic ice shelf and found extreme life in a place they thought nothing could survive. And as we know, right, this isn't the first time we found extremophiles, as they're called, in different places, like living at the bottom of frozen water lake type situations on like volcanic gassing events on the very bottom, magma and this whole thing, right? So, their life finds a way. I think that's the thing, right? Is it Jurassic Park or whatever where they say that, Michael Crichton? Something like that. And it's true. It really is true. And so, again, like as far as alien life is concerned and the rest of this, it doesn't surprise me that it's going to be everywhere, literally everywhere. Like I wouldn't be shocked if it's on Mars. I wouldn't be shocked if it's on Venus. I wouldn't be shocked if it's freaking everywhere. But, well, science says, well, hashtag science. We'll just leave that to Anthony Fauci, and we'll just live in the realm of speculation here. Antarctica is a true time capsule, this article says. The continent has remained frozen, covered by thick ice sheets, which has been the case for at least 15 million years. Of course, during Earth's long geological history, and as continents crashed, crumbled, and morphed, Antarctica did so too. In fact, researchers have discovered that millions of years ago, the continent we see covered in ice was a tropical paradise covered by lush forest, alien-like vegetation, and life was teeming on its surface. Today, this is not the case, and Antarctica is the greatest ice desert on the planet. But life exists in Antarctica. And it is far more widespread than you may have thought. According to a study in the journal Frontiers in Marine Science, far underneath the ice shelves of the Antarctic, there's more life than expected. Researchers have reported that stationary sponge-like creatures and previously unknown species have been discovered clinging to a rock far below the Antarctic ice shelf. Interesting, right? Interesting. I always love this stuff. Extremophiles and life way down there is what alien life is all about, isn't it? Are we going to find these things as the theory goes with panspermia, that maybe we find life like the water bears? Those what are they called? What's the name? The real name? The tardigrades. Something like that kind of lies dormant on these asteroids or these comets that just kind of zip around the universe doing their thing, and when they come in contact with the sun-like thing, they wake up, they melt, they whatever, right? Whatever's going on, who knows? Like there's a ton of theories about this stuff, and as they say, life finds a way. Life is resilient. Mother Nature is amazing, and I think probably again, right? You can't do the alien show without believing there's life out there, and so it just is what it is. I think time will prove us correct in the assumption that life is pretty much everywhere out there. So anyway, as we finish this up, lots of good comments in the chat, guys. I appreciate you hanging out. Don't have time to read them all and do everything, or we'll just do that. So we'll maybe I don't know. I'm not sure. That's why we have the open phone line. If you have to get on the show, you know what to do. Phone number is up. We got a couple minutes left if you guys want to hop in here. 702-957-1037. Let's see. And Alien Echan says, here in Ohio, we have a level 2 snow emergency. What's up? We don't. That sucks. It sucks. And they're shutting down like southern Texas. They're shutting it down. Like, that's crazy. Quint says, Ash the Reptilian has already formed a welcoming committee for the chopper. Yeah. Yeah. And Alien Echan, I just finished watching both seasons of Fortitude on Amazon. They talk about extreme life forms. This show was so good, set in the far north, but a little gross. Oh, very gross. Very gross. Yeah. I haven't seen that myself, but yeah. All right. So we're going to do this Star Wars crawl. You guys know what to do. This show, the bad news is we're done. The good news is, God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. And tomorrow is the day we start and do both shows. We'll do Troubled Minds and we'll do this show. So we'll be back tomorrow with this show at 3 p.m. and the Troubled Mind show at 7 p.m. We'll be on the Fringe FM. We'll be on D Live. We'll be on Facebook and YouTube. So that's coming, and hang tight. We'll have Ash on Wednesday. We already got that show scheduled, already talking about what we're going to do there. And then we'll be back on Thursday as well. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you got double doses of shows, conspiracy news, and then Troubled Minds. So yeah, that's what's up. That's where we're headed. That's what we're finishing with. And again, if you want to be on this list, this Star Wars crawl, just sub up to the channel there. If you want to help with I do need help. If you want to help with the show in any capacity, whatever, I need some people to write some little write-ups for shows or whatever, so they can go up on the website. I just don't have time. There's so many damn things to do. Here's what I'll do. If we can't get help in catching up on some of the stuff, I think I'll have to shut down this show for a little bit, a week or two, and then we'll call it the end of season 1 and then start season 2, something like that, so I can catch up on some other stuff. It just always seems like I'm playing catch up. There's so many things that need to be done. I just can't ever get them all done. So anyway, kind of biting off more than I can chew, but I think it's important to kind of keep current events relevant and actually current, and not be talking about old news. So anyway, blah blah, so on and so forth. Just my thoughts as we kind of go through this. If you want to be on this list, you know what to do. Just sub up to the channel, and let's finish this up. Thanks to everybody for hanging out today in the chat. Thanks for everybody for showing up and listening. Thanks for spending your time with us. Oops, that's the wrong button. I meant to play this button. But the boop button is funny anyway. Here we go. Star Wars Crawl. Thank you again to everybody for hanging out today. Thanks for the chat. Thanks for the call, Axel. Thanks to Eli for being first as always. Thank you to the folks who have subbed up to this channel. It does help. Like I said, there are bills to pay for this show, and so it does help me actually pay the bills on this show, and I appreciate that a lot. And you have no idea how happy Mrs. Strange was when the check came in. She's like, "Oh, I thought this was a negative. It's a positive." Thanks, guys. Yeah. Thank you to AJ Dare, Alien Nichan, Arc Platinum, Axel Steel 3, Dark Devious, FGC Spiral, Guerdo 75, Ident, Lizzie Dags, Monochromatic, Nikki Nix, Noble Cal L, Often Frozen, Quint 67, Super Vike 1, and Satan Claus. Also to Tam Bam, which I haven't added to the list. I will, I promise. Penny Bunny, who hasn't subbed up because she got a gift sub. Lots of people interested in these discussions. Lots of folks subbing up. Lots of people listening to the show. Spread the word, guys. I appreciate every last one of you. Thank you so much. Like I said, you've made this entire experience fantastic, and I can't thank you enough. For now, we're done. We'll be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. for Troubled Minds. Thanks for listening. Have a great afternoon.